prepared by Institute for Human Development and the International Labour Organization.
Of youth in agriculture, especially among young females in the construction sector. So just as it happened, the structural part that Alak had pointed out with respect to the labour force as a whole is also observed with respect to the youth. In fact, in greater 2019 by 36.4 million, industry expanded, but mainly due to expansion in construction, and service area expanded quite significantly. But over the last few years, agriculture expanded very significantly. Agricultural employment among youth by 14.4 million. Industry expanded, but in recent years was mainly due to agricultural employment. Now, as far as quality of employment is concerned, the quality of employment among youth, and this is the youth, of course, speaking about averages, is worse than the quality of employment among adults. This probably has to do with also lesser experience in the job market that they have. So we find, we also point out later on. Now, we come to the chapter on education and levels of education and education skills and so on, and the question in relation to employment. And basically, between 2000 and 2009 and 22-23, we find that there has been a rapid improvement in access to education in areas across rural, urban, and female male as well as across people. There are very large differences in proficiency with ICT skills, and also ownership of computers and so on. Now, returns to education, we computed returns to education using the Messianic type of function over several years. And what we have therefore, the first is the obvious one, that there is very limited uptake of training, both due to supply and demand side constraints. Shortage of traders and infrastructure, inadequate industry partnership, low returns from training, and hence low demand, against a target of nearly 40 million trainees a year, which was set by in the national policy document. The actual achievement has been less than 50.
Pleasure to be back in India from Geneva for this event and discuss these very important issues. Of course, you've heard many different trends, some improvements, some persisting challenges. Let me just pause briefly on the global scenario, which is not covered in the report, but given my... To recognize when we look at the policy agenda, as already been pointed out, in the case of India, there's been a lot of action by the government at all levels and other partners to address many of these issues. So when we talk about the policy agenda, it's not that there is a vacuum. Indeed, as already noted, there are many.
The report deserves praise for its breadth and depth. It puts a magnifying glass on the intricacies of labour market challenges, including opportunities and the issues to overcome. It also undertakes deep analysis through unit-level data of various terms of statistical data and the ease of access, etc. I can add that those of us who are engaged in downloading labour market data from the website of the Labour Bureau in Chandigarh may be entitled to a hardship allowance. The reason why I said that the absence of specific solutions is not a complaint or a criticism but part for the course, I want to recall a film from 1970 that I can address. I will simply say, that this problem needs to be addressed urgently in every forum I'm invited to speak at. So the point therefore here is that I think there is an element of truth in what he said in that movie. We should ask ourselves, what can the government do on employment short of hiring massively by itself? Of course, I do agree that
his concerns about what should be done. Employment is India's biggest economic, social, and political challenge. Not just for the past half century, but also for the next quarter century. I think it is all. Which I can only infer he means that we will reach upper middle income states, which China has just done. And that at this moment seems on the distant horizon. I think the India Employment Report, which has been done by the IHD and the ILO working together, often there are generalizations and prescriptions that have no foundation in reality. And in doing this evidence-based research, they have attempted to provide us an analysis, a diagnosis, and a prescription. An analysis of the trends and outcomes with a focus on youth employment and unemployment, which lies at the heart of our employment crisis, with some attempt at setting out a policy agenda. I would agree with Anand Nageshwaran when he said that it is no surprise that while we are rich in analysis and diagnosis, we are short on prescription. But that's not the theme alone or the report alone. It is as much government, academia, industry, civil society. We are all struggling with this conundrum. But this report is an important beginning. Now, we are exactly 45 minutes behind schedule. What I would like to suggest is that we try and finish at 1:45, which is an hour from now.
Policymakers and researchers. It's been said already a number of times, not to belabor the point, but the analysis of micro-records of the labor force surveys, the ASI data, national accounts data, the CLEMS data is something that was very unique, but provided a lot of insights. Also the issue of analyzing trends over a long period of time, 20 plus years. Finally, the report.
So my suggestion to IHD would be to make it a regular annual event, event in the sense that annual report. And the Indian media, I would say, will be grateful to IHD for making it an annual product. Let me now just briefly touch upon 3 issues that struck me in this report, which I don't think it has been discussed in the Indian employment scene. And I'm just wondering that what does this mean for the various policies that operate in this space? Is there a social security angle that needs to be looked at, and because this is a large segment, and can there be better systems available for if the reality